We're here for day number 3 in our big, beautiful kitchen that we are changing from really dark to light. We're going to kind of review what we did on the first day. If my retailers, I know there's a lot of retailers tuning in, why don't you guys chime in where you are and who you are so that if people are looking for a retailer, they can find you. All right. The first day, what we did was we cleaned with our White Lightning cleaner, we taped and draped, and we caulked. And basically, you were ready for paint then. Now, several people have asked me one more time about Slick Stick and Boss. Boss is the odor and stain blocker, and it blocks bleed through. And one person had said in a kitchen you probably should use it because you can't get the kitchen clean. And I have not found that to be true. I've only used Boss on a few kitchens. I had to sporadically use it in one kitchen. I had to use it completely in another kitchen because the oak bled through. But for the most part, if you clean your cabinets well, there's no need to use it. Slick Stick is great if you're doing laminate cabinets. It is a product that helps with adhesion. So the Slick Stick is great, especially if you're doing your kitchen countertops. And yes, you can paint your kitchen countertops. We've done videos on it. If you get a chance, check it out. Talk to your local retailer. They can tell you about it. And don't forget about your cleaner. Your cleaner is fantastic. All right, so we taped and draped and caulked and cleaned the first day. Yesterday, we applied paint. And you guys can see that this is not a dark red brown anymore. It's got 2 coats of drop cloth on it. And actually, some places in the kitchen, I'm applying 3 coats of paint because this kitchen was so dark, it really, really, really needed it. I got to answer a few questions that came up yesterday. One of the questions was, why wasn't I misting more? I got to be honest with you, when I'm doing a live and trying to paint and answer questions, sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything, but I do miss a lot. Somebody asked if I missed my roller. I do miss my roller when I'm painting, but it's mainly just to keep my paint from drying up in there. If your roller has plenty of paint, it rolls on just fine. But in between me using it, I miss it just to keep my roller from drying out. Somebody asked, would you always need a 3rd coat? I almost never need a 3rd coat. It's just the darkness of these cabinets go into such a light color. Shadows. Another thing that you'll notice in this house, if you saw it in the evenings, the light is completely different, and a lot of times you'll see shadows on your cabinets. If you don't have good lighting when you're painting your kitchen cabinets, you might want to bring in some kind of light so that you can see better, and then you can see where you need it. My husband and I were talking this morning about some of the shadows in here, but now we've got some sun coming out, so that helps. But I actually have little LED lights that I take into most of the kitchens that I paint so that I can see underneath and the back side and everything because I want as good a finish as I can get. Dry time versus cure time. All of this paint is dry to the touch. Every bit of the paint that I put on yesterday and this morning is dry to the touch. But now when I do my kitchens, I tell everybody, these are all water-based products. We are going to put our gator hide on today, and these water-based products cure in 30 days. So I tell everybody light use for the first 30 days, and then after that, it's rock hard because for some reason, I get a lot of people that will send me messages about scratching their paint a day or 2 after they put it on. I'm not really sure why you would scratch paint, but water-based products have a 30-day curing time. Okay, so the last question is the amount of paint. The amount of paint used in this kitchen is really not comparable to an average kitchen. Not only am I going to put a 3rd coat on part of it, but this kitchen is more than twice as big as an average kitchen. It's got 86 doors and drawers, so it's definitely much larger than your average kitchen. Typically, an average kitchen takes about 32 ounces of paint or so because that covers 150 square feet with 2 coats. But now, your kitchen may be larger or smaller, or you may have some anomaly. You may be going light to dark or dark to light and need a little more paint. But 32 ounces is a good start. Okay, to show you guys. Yesterday, I was going to get to debut some new Dixie Belle brushes, but they did not get delivered in time. So I got to use them all yesterday afternoon. In fact, I'm such a paint nerd, I actually taped over my wooden handles so you guys could see them while they looked beautiful before I got paint all over the handles. So, I'm going to show you how great these brushes are. They are very comparable to Klingon. They are synthetic. And here are the brushes. There are 7 of them. They are awesome. This one is FS. And see, look at that. It's a flat small. This one is a flat medium, FM. And this one is a flat large. All right? And this is an oval small. We've got an oval medium. Then we've got a round large. And I don't remember what this one is. It's short. But I didn't want you guys to see it all messy before you guys even got to see it. So it is a short handle. I'll tell you that. It's already damp because I'm going to use it today, and I wanted you guys to see it. But I've got to tell you, these are the bomb diggity. I mean, they are amazeballs. I painted with them yesterday afternoon. In fact, some of them I didn't get all the paint out of them. But they really, really, really did well. They're very comparable to Klingon. And guess what? Your local retailers are going to have them in about a month, in about the next month. The prices, I think, are going to be fairly comparable to Klingon. But they do have fantastic handles. They don't have those big long handles, which I know a lot of us fight with. And especially this little short one, it fits perfectly in your hand. They do have the wooden handles. They clean up very easily with the scrubby soap. I gotta be honest, after painting 12 hours, I was just a little tired yesterday, so I do need to clean mine up a little bit better.
Kim wants to know what brand the brushes are.
They are Dixie Belle brushes. They are Dixie Belle branded brushes, and they are synthetic, so they are going to handle the paint. They can be put into paint put into water like the Klingon, so you can suspend them in your mason jar, or if you've got one of the Klingon buckets or whatever. And before anybody asks, I don't know if Dixie Belle's going to come out with a bucket or not. That will be up to Dixie Belle. They just literally got the brushes in on Monday and just sent them to me so that I could debut them for you guys live. And this is a mini. That's what this one's called. I wanted you guys to know what the name of it is. They are #amazeballs. I mean, they really, really are. And they're a nice color. They're red, which is my favorite color. Okay, so...
Cheryl wanted to know if they compare to Paint Pixie.
Well, now, Paint Pixies are more... they are natural fibers, so they do shed a little bit. I love Paint Pixie brushes, but now these are not really... There's not... If you're talking about one with a French tip, they do not have a tapered end. But now, as far as getting these round ones are great if you, well, I've got my lighter in front of it, but there's a lot of detail on the front of, there's a little applique on the front of the vent hood. These are great for getting into those. If you had a bigger area, these would be great for that. But, I mean, they paint beautifully. Today, we are doing gator hide. Today is about putting our gator hide on. Gator hide is our water repellent top coat, and it does fantastic. Typically on a kitchen, I put 2 to 3 coats of gator hide so that it's a scrubbable finish, but now it's totally up to you. On the backs of the doors, I put 1 coat, and on the fronts of the doors, I put 2 to 3 coats for durability. A lot of people will tell you that, you know, chalk paint and stuff can't last in a kitchen, but they're thinking of old-style chalk paint without a water repellent top coat. This stuff, I can tell you, it will last. I've done it in a lot of kitchens. So today...
That's why it's called gator hide.
Exactly. It's tough like gator hide. Okay, so today, we're going to get down here in our work area, and I have a lot of people ask me, how do I apply my gator hide? Well, there's a lot of ways you can apply gator hide, so we're going to mess with it today. All right. Today... Oh, one other thing that I want to cover before we get gator hide. We're going to talk about glazing. We are not going to have a live tomorrow because they're going to be doing some demo here in the house. and I can't usurp them, so it may be a little loud in here while they're pulling out a fireplace and a chimney and such. So we're not going to be live again until 11 o'clock on Friday. But today we're doing gator hide, but I also want to talk. Do you guys know what these are? These are called cabinet bumps. Anytime you paint your kitchen cabinets, you need to replace your cabinet bumps. And if you replace your cabinet bumps, you have to be mindful of how your hinges are adjusted. There's a lot of different kinds of bumps. A lot of them are little rubber ones or whatever. But if you, if you get bumps that are too thick, they will not work on your cabinets. They'll hold your doors open slightly. I'm not a giant fan of the rubber bumps because sometimes, especially on fresh paint, if it's really warm and humid in your house, they'll have a tendency to stick to wherever. But I like the felt ones, but really what decides what kind of bumps I'm going to use, it depends on the adjustment of the cabinet. So when you pull your cabinet doors or when you start your painting process and pull your old ones off, you need to measure them against whatever bumps you're going to replace them with. This kitchen does not have very thick bumps on their cabinets, or they didn't when I pulled them out, so we're using felt bumps on this, but on the last kitchen we used, they had very thick rubber bumps, and that's what we had to go back with. So be mindful, bumps are important because you don't want those freshly painted cabinet doors bumping against the freshly paint.
Suzanne is asking what sheen gator hide is.
Gator hide is between satin and glossy. It gives you just a little bit of a shine. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell on here because, of course, it'll be wet. But at least you can see how to apply it. But now it's a beautiful finish. If you decide you want a flatter finish, put on some gator hide and then use our flat top coat as your last coat, and it'll flatten it out nicely for you. All right. Okay, so we are going to use our mini brush from Dixie Belle, one of our brand new synthetic brushes. We're going to use a synthetic silk sponge because that is great for speeding up the process. And somebody asked me if I would use a roller, so we are going to use a roller as well. I typically dampen everything before I put anything on there. Now, I know some people will say don't use a damp sponge with gator hide. If you're putting gator hide over a dark color and you have any streakiness after the first coat, put a couple of drops of the color of paint that you used, that you're going over, into your last coat of gator hide, and you won't have any problems with streakiness. Okay, so my brush is damp, and we are going to apply it because, like I told you before, a roller isn't going to get into these creases and crevices. So you want to make sure and just put it on there, and be mindful if you're worried about any kind. Sometimes people say that gator hide causes their paint to yellow. That's not true. It's the tannins coming through the wood that causes it to yellow. Also, if on these raised panels, if you allow the gator hide to pool in these areas or run, sometimes you'll notice that there'll be a little bit of a yellow tint to that. That's because you've let the product pool in those areas. So make sure and keep all of your little drips and stuff all taken care of. And like I say, if you've got a local retailer, they are going to help you with all of this. All right, so I showed you how we put it on with a brush. And like I say, the brush makes it so that you can get in these little creases and crevices. And now with Dixie Belle's new ones, we've even got some little bitty ones. So you can get it right up in there. See, you go right along those little edges. And I mean, they are amazing. I don't think everybody that follows me knows that I use the word amazeballs more than I realized, now that I have people telling me about it. All right, so that way you can use that one. Now we're going to use our sponge. A lot of people have questions about the sponge, but I'm going to tell you, the sponge can speed up the kitchen so well. What you're going to want to do is you're going to dip your sponge into your product, and you're just going to kind of drag it along the side. You don't want any excess product on the bottom, and you're just going to rub it across there. And you can feel when you need more product. When it drags as you're wiping, you need more product.
Nancy's asking about a colored wax for detail or glaze before or after gator hide.
Typically, I do not put glaze or wax onto my fresh paint. I always gator hide or clear coat before I add any wax or glaze because the paint is chalky and it'll grab hold of either wax or glaze. Whereas if I put a clear coat on, or if I will put the gator hide on, the first coat, then it makes it go much better. Now, just like with the paint, we're going to cut this in a little so that when we roll our gator hide on, it will go on just where we want it to. Oh, somebody asked yesterday why our each panel, because you want your strokes to match. So if I went down through here and I did cut in every single panel and then rolled it, sometimes you can have a little bit of an overkill on your pieces. You'll have places where your strokes don't meet well, and that's why you want to work each panel completely before you go to the next panel. All right, now we're going to roll the gator hide on, because especially if you're using this on big places like this, or on a countertop or kitchen cabinets, you definitely want to be able to do it. And
there is no paint mixed in your gator hide.
There is no paint mixed in this gator hide. No need to mix any paint in this gator hide. It's going to go on really well.
And Suzanne wants to know how many coats of gator hide you're going to put on.
I'm going to put 2 to 3 coats of gator hide on because it is in the kitchen. And you want it to have a very durable finish.
She says more by the sink or?
Typically, I don't do more by the sink because 2 to 3 coats of gator hide will take care of it. Now, sometimes on the panels on the refrigerator, because here we have wooden panels on the refrigerator, I am prone to putting more on the panel below the water and the ice dispenser on a refrigerator. And I do sometimes put a little bit on the sink where you keep your sponges and stuff. There's always a little door out here that they have. I'll put it there, but other than that, no. Now see, that one is completely covered just that quickly. Again, we have to have the smooth foam roller so that we have the smooth consistency of what we're doing. And then you can go back in and make sure that you have no drips. You want to brush all of this. And occasionally when you're doing this, you may notice a place that you might need to fill in something and all of that. If you need to touch up something while you're using your gator hide, go ahead and let your gator hide completely dry before you start messing with whatever needs to be touched up, and then just take your little artist brush or a small paintbrush, touch up your paint, and then go back over it with the gator hide. But typically by this point, you kind of know what needs to be done, what hasn't been done, if there's any issues, because, you know, especially doing a kitchen this dark, a lot of times you can have issues that just rear their ugly head. You find a nail hole you missed, or maybe you find a little piece of quarter round there at the floor that didn't get enough paint on it or something. Just stop what you're doing and let that gator hide dry that you've already applied, and then go back in and touch it up, and then touch it up with your gator hide.
There is no sanding between coats.
I typically do not sand between coats. Now, I know that there are some people that do, but I'm telling you, if you do kitchens the size of the ones that I do, and you sanded between coats, you would never finish a kitchen. I mean, this kitchen has 86 doors and drawers. So, if you started sanding every one of those, you would just never finish.
It's kind of an unnecessary step.
And the thing is, my husband and I do a lot of kitchens. We have one kitchen going just about constantly, and everybody is so pleased with how beautiful the finishes are in both the texture and the smoothness, because everything it flows, the colors are beautiful. Dixie Belle has 64 colors. Now, most of the kitchens we do are fairly neutral, but they have 64 beautiful colors, and by the time you put a top coat on here, not only is it durable, but it's gorgeous, and it's very smooth to the touch. So, I mean, there's really no need for taking an extra step to sand it. that kind of defeats the purpose of using Dixie Belle Paint. Questions? Somebody sent me one yesterday. Would I ever use wax in a kitchen? I might use wax for accent, but wax would never, ever, ever be my top coat for a kitchen, on the kitchen cabinets, on the countertop, even on the bar out here. I would never use wax as my top coat because typically the kitchen is the heart of the home and it gets so much wear and tear, whether you've got guests sitting at the bar while you're cooking or whatever. It just gets a lot of wear and tear, and gator hide is just that. It's tough like gator hide. So if you got a 5-year-old kicking your bar, they're not going to kick your paint off, you know?
No, we do not sand the final coat to smooth it.
No.
It doesn't need it. It's not necessary.
There's no need to sand the final coat to smooth it. It is beautifully smooth. Once you apply this, the final coat of paint is already smooth, but I want it to be scrubbable, so I'm putting gator hide on it.
Yes, we do spray the drawers and doors. We remove them and take them to our shop to spray them.
Yes, and we spray the gator hide. If I use the problem solvers, if I use Boss or Slick Stick, I spray those. If I spray the Dixie Belle Paint, I spray the gator hide. The only thing I don't spray is glaze and wax.
Gator hide is the final.
Gator hide is the final coat because we're going to go back, we're going to glaze these on Friday, but once I glaze these, I'll go back over them with gator hide.
There you go.
So gator hide is my top coat, but it's also my final coat. I'll put it as a top coat. I'll put a couple of coats, we'll glaze, and then I'll go back over it with another coat of gator hide to make sure I've got everything all sealed up, buttoned up for the homeowner. Now, if you're doing your own kitchen cabinets and you don't want to put gator hide over your glaze, you do not have to. But understand, if we have mastiffs, we have 4 mastiffs. If your mastiff shakes ahead and gets something on your cabinets and you decide to scrub it off and you didn't put gator hide over your glaze, theoretically, you might scrub your glaze out. But if you don't have mastiffs, you won't understand what I mean.
Kim is asking if there's an instruction sheet that goes over the steps to painting, I guess.
Absolutely. You know, I'm glad you said that because most of your local retailers will have a color chart which has all 64 colors of Dixie Belle Paint, and they'll also have this great Dixie Belle how-to booklet. So it goes over so many things. It tells you about Dixie Belle Paint. It has an index in the front, and our color chart has a list of most of our products right here. So again, run out and grab your local retailer and say, I want these. Most of them will give them to you for free, and if they don't have them, they can get them for you. And if you don't have a local retailer, send me a private message at 44marketplace.com. If you go on Facebook or on the internet, my husband and I will happily mail you a copy of these. That way you can know exactly what you're doing with Dixie Belle. Questions?
Shane is asking, is gator hide more durable than Dixie Belle clear coat?
It is water repellent. Dixie Belle clear coat is water resistant. Gator hide is water repellent. So typically on my horizontal surfaces and in my kitchens and bathrooms, I use gator hide. Otherwise, you can use Dixie Belle clear coat. We've got it satin, we've got glossy, and we've got flat.
That's it.
Okay, no more questions? All right, well, I will not see you guys tomorrow at 11. Like I say, we've got demo going on in here, but I will see you Friday at 11. If you have any more questions, hit us up at DixieBellePaint.com on Facebook or 44 Marketplace, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much.